Welcome back, everybody, to the League of Legends Championship Series. I'm Jat, joined by Hai, who just had a quick and decisive victory over Curse. How did that one feel?
Before that, ask me about my shirt.
What about your shirt, Hai?
Look at the shirt. It's brand spanking new. It's blue. You can get it on our website, cloud9.gg.
I have a feeling your manager, Jack, told you to say that. I'm not sure.
I don't think he did.
All
I just really like the shirts. They're blue. They're colorful. They say HyperX on it. That's why we won, the blue shirts.
I feel like it had something to do with something else. I want you to talk about your Kassadin pick specifically, because you guys haven't, I don't think you've played Kassadin that much at all this year. This was your first time, I believe. And picked it last, plus you didn't even build Rod of Ages. Just talk to me about Kassadin and your build.
Right, so around the world, Kassadin's being picked up a lot by Europe, Asia, whatever, and North America. So I didn't want to get left behind. And he's not my kind of champion, but I just played him because he's fun. You kind of rift walk in, rift walk out. And I think I was talking to the originals about builds, about Kassadin. He told me the build that I built just in this game, and I agreed with him. I thought it was good on him, because if you buy Rod of Ages, I feel like you're just really weak mid-game, and if you get Archangel Staff early and get Seraphs, once you get Seraphs, you just become God tier. And it's just like, why build Rod of Ages? I don't see a purpose in it. You're not going to die anyway. That health doesn't help you. Especially
when you're ending the games in under 29 minutes. I have one other item thing about your team that I've noticed in the past few games. Meteos has built the cooldown boots on his jungler the last 2 games. Do you want to go into the reasons why? I
think he said something about building it if he's ahead, because that's a lot of damage on like a jungler. Like if he can spam Q every half second or 2 seconds on Nasus or whatever, he's smacking people for like tons of damage. And the same thing with Zac. I think he built it yesterday on Zac as well. So he just does it if he's ahead.
Okay, and I want to talk about your 20-win record right now, because you guys are getting farther and farther ahead in the standings now. How do you avoid becoming complacent as we move towards the playoffs?
We just always tell each other that we're not done with the season yet. We're not prepared for playoffs. Anything can happen in the best of 5, best of 3. So we just always remind each other not to get too egotistical. Don't let it get to our heads and just like chill a little bit. Because like we still can lose. Last split, Chris went 0-5 in the Super Week of the very last week, and that could very well happen to us. So we just try and remind each other not to get complacent. So that's how we handle it.
And then since you don't even know what your matchup is going to be in the playoffs yet, how are you kind of ramping up for the playoffs as a team?
We still take everything seriously, all of our scrims. We pay attention to what the world is doing. We pay attention to what other teams are doing. So regardless of whatever team we're playing, we try and keep tabs on each team just so that we know what they're doing. So I think we'll be somewhat prepared for whatever team we play, at least.
And last question, you guys have one more game coming up today against Velocity. What's the game like when you guys have to adjust for a team midday and have 2 games in one day?
We'll normally review over bans and picks one more time before we play them, just make sure everything we're doing is correct. And just ensure that what we want to do is correct. Also, on a side note, it's Lemon Nation's sister's birthday day, and it's my girlfriend's birthday. So happy birthday to them.
Well, thank you very much for the birthday wishes, Hai, and I'm sure they're very grateful that you're able to shout it out on stream here.
Of course.
We have 5 more games today, everybody, and right now we have Kobe and Freak on the desk to take it away.
Thanks very much, Jat, and it is time for that second match of the day, Team Solo Mid versus Team Dignitas. This is the final meeting of the summer between these teams for the regular season, and even though Dignitas won the first 2 games in convincing fashion, it was TSM who came out on top when they met last week.
Against Dignitas this week, we just want to obviously win again.
This week we're probably going to try to play similar as we did last week and just come out strong and solid.
People don't expect us to beat TSM even though we have like a really strong record against TSM. We were 2-0 and the games we played against them were disgusting. Even the last game where it should have been won, but we started throwing games like the 3-minute mark for some reason. It just snowballs into like 6 minutes where we have to come back from a 3K deficit. So we're hoping to cut down on that going into next week.
And like Skara said, they had owned TSM this split until their early game death last week resulted in their first loss of the summer against Reggie and crew.
I'd have to say the key for TSM was their jungler, the odd one. He was able to shut down Cutie Graves with constant Nasus Withers and set his team up with kills. Also in that game, Kiwi Kid ran Aatrox for the first time, and that one is a little bit underwhelming to say the least.
Well, Dignitas' struggles actually continued yesterday with that loss to Cloud9, and while TSM won their only match So they moved in the sole position of 3rd place.
So yesterday, TSM was able to come back from an early deficit and take down Curse with their AoE teamfighting composition. And I definitely expect to see more AoE teamfighting compositions from TSM because they've shown that really that's what they're comfortable with and that's what they execute best. One part of those comps that I think that we won't see, though, is the Karthus, because Reginald's Karthus has been banned out in 15 of TSM's 21 games, and every time that it's gone through, he's picked it. First picked it, in fact. And he has a 67% win rate with it, so there's a good reason he's picking that all the time.
So if we're 21 for 21 on Karthus picks, I'm looking at my crystal ball, and I'm going to guess we see Karthus and Champ Select this time.
Pretty good guess. We've seen it every game they've had so far.
I'm good with stats. All right, guys, check out the starting lineups for the game. TSM, blue side. Reginald in the top lane. The Obwood in jungle. Dyrus in mid. Wild Turtle on AD carry. And a special on support.
And on the red side, it's Dignitas. Kiwi Kid is up top. Crumbs is in the jungle. Scar at mid. I'm a Cutie Pie on AD. And Patoy supporting.
And the battle between the support players is our featured matchup of the day. It's TSM's Special and Dignitas' Patoy.
So, Special is a North American all-star support, as everyone knows, and he's shown time and again that he's got the mechanics, even as a support player, to back that up. Especially the timing on his Thresh plays have been very impressive. Meanwhile, coming into today, Patoy has the most kills of any support player. So not only does he protect Cutie Pie, but he does his fair share of the dirty work too.
Now, I actually have a question, though. Is that him, like, laying in the law and being dominant, or is he, like, stealing from Cutie Pie?
No. Patoy's no thief. He's just taking the ones that Cutie Pie can't get to.
All right. So Patoy,
securing them.
Patoy securing them. That is the S and KS, and well-deserved. I actually remember looking at Curse's game. Edward at one point, I think, had top kills in the team, like carrying it on Zyra. Like, I actually like supports that get, like, a Leanders or something and actually, like, carry with items. I miss when supports, like, bot ability power and stuff.
If you're not sure that your AD carry can get the kill, then you should throw everything you have to make sure, because you definitely want somebody to get it.
Yeah.
Better for you guys to get it than nobody.
He walks away and buries for under the turret, and you're like, why didn't you just glitter lance? I've had that happen before, actually. And my friend's like, I thought you'd kill him. I was like, no, I was stunned.
So I actually like the supports that are bloodthirsty and go for the last hits.
How about the ones that buy a bloodthirster?
So that's a little bit too far. I've seen a few Threshes go off on the lifesteal, builds.
Okay, not for you though. All right, fair enough.
Not in my lane, freak.
Leave the bloodthirsters to the 80 carries. All
Reginald is not amused.
Reginald,
back on track, please.
Reginald is all business. That is the man's personality. And TSM, honestly, they're down 1-2 to Dignitas in series. Okay, they won last week, but this is a team that can make top 2. Like, their goal is to get top 2 to usurp that away from Vulcan. Sure, they're a couple of games behind, but TSM have not lost this week so far. They can go 3-0 this week. They can go 5-0 next week in Super Week. They went 5-0 in last Super Week. Or the last week of last split. So certainly these guys have been able to make that sort of late season push and get themselves there.
They have really had a knack for coming back towards the ends and winning when it counts. But I feel like TSM has got to be one of the most stressful teams to be on because of that business focus that Reginald has and the way he wants to run the team like a company. It does definitely put a lot of stress on the individual relationships between the players, and especially when they're not performing to what they're used to. Whenever you're a team that's always winning, when you start losing, it really puts you through the true tests of your team.
That's true, and that's always what you got to look at. Whereas you look at, I guess, Dignitas, really, and I think they have a really good...
They seem more happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, they have a really good personality even when they're... And, of course, we go right away to Kiwi Kid. The man is, I think, 90% of the time smiling no matter what's going on. I remember I like listening to the player audios, you know, whenever you come back from commercial and you hear what the players are saying. There was a team fight where, like, Cutie Pie is just going, like, as they're killing people. Like, he's not even making calls, he's just making noise.
Okay.
Just because they...
Don't do that again, but...
Sorry, was that loud?
I like the example, though.
It was a good example. It was like, it was in yesterday's show. It's just like, Cutie Pie makes a bunch of noise because they're already winning the fight.
They have so many characters on this Dignitas squad. They're all very... powerful personalities.
Ironically, their tag is only one character. So they save it for the actual players themselves. Guys, that's enough from us. We are in a champion select. It's going to be a really good match. TSM on blue, Dignitas on red. Once again, the last time these guys will meet during the regular season. Lee Sin dropped away from Crumbs. Got the Karthus ban. Removed from Reginald. They don't want to let that one go
smart,
through.
Freak. So smart.
So good at my job.
So they're focusing on Crumbs 100% here. The first thing you guys can see from this early ban phase is that they want to take out Crumbs' early playmaking ability, because I feel like if Crumbs is not the one to influence those lanes, then those lanes are going to lose on their own. Dignitas, they play a lot of assassin champions for their solo laners. Kiwi Kid and Skara have both been very assassin and carry champion oriented lately. If those types of champions don't get help early from Crumbs, then they will lose by default to the solid champions that TSM usually pick for the lane phase.
And meanwhile, look at the bans that Dignitas brought out there against TSM. The very, very typical picks right here. The Karthus, the Shen, the Rumble. The comfort picks are gone for TSM, so they've got to bring out something a bit different. No mass globals. Maybe the TF, though.
I'm saying, the thing I was raising my hands about was the Aatrox ban.
Yeah.
Because he actually had a pretty lackluster game on that champion, and then they did win one with it. So maybe they're just they're banning out whatever Kiwi Kid has put most time into. Whether he's actually had results with it already or not, they feel like the potential is there for a good set for Dignitas with that.
Well, I know that Kiwi Kid has one of the higher death totals of top laners, and back in Europe, Alex Hitch made a joke saying that, yeah, Darian Feet, who's the top laner for Gambit, by the way, said, yeah, Darian Feet's all the time anyway, so we give him Aatrox, so he dies less. And you never know, that might be the reasoning here. But TSM, the cough comes out from Reginald. He always coughs in Champ Select, always. There's always one coming out there.
We talked about
grabbed
rituals.
in. Yeah, that's one of his. He's grabbed in the early Jace. Meanwhile, Dignitas grabbing the initiation double combo. The Zach Jarvan.
Talked about this combo so much, so I feel like we don't have to go over the specifics, but again, it does leave a lot to the imagination. Not quite sure where either of those will go. Crumbs is definitely a bigger fan of Jarvan, so if you look at the actual players on the team, then sometimes you can figure out which one is going to be jungle here, and I definitely give a higher percentage to the jungle Jarvan in this case.
Yeah.
And again, that would put Kiwi Kid on a revive passive. There you go, he gets to die less.
Didn't get Aatrox, got the other one. Give him a Nivea next time, whatever, no big deal. Put Scar on Zillion, who knows. Here we go, though. TSM making the next couple of picks, and you talked about how good the special Thresh is, and they're looking at that right here. They've got their pick of the litter for supports, and says, yeah, Thresh is probably going to be the pickup right here. The Wild Turtle Graves, he actually ran that last time around, and so did Cutie Pie. So Graves a bit of a steal as well as a comfort pick.
Definitely. One of my favorite ADs, the burst damage that he brings to the table is always useful. Even if he ends up in a bad position, you can get off a buckshot and a collateral damage before you go down, even as an AD carry. The thing that's very exciting, though, is that Thresh pick that you talked about, specifically against Jarvan. Xpecial interrupted probably 5 flag toss combos from St. Vicious in a row in their game versus Curse to just completely nullify St. Vicious in that game. So I love this Thresh early pick here from TSM, getting Xpecial on a champion where he can shine.
And he's gonna probably shine so brightly here. We'll see if Dignitas can... You laugh too much.
Like
he's not on Tarek. He's not on Tarek. I would have made the joke more directly.
Okay.
It's okay. We filled it
and
out.
Meanwhile, we've got the Blondie combo over here. Ezreal and Jarvan, both very shiny gold members, but it means that they're going to have a little bit more ability here with the AD carry. So Cutie Pie is one of the biggest fans of the blue Ezreal build. So they just added a whole bunch of late game kiting potential to their team.
And here we go with the Sona as well. They've got even more initiation power. Just the crescendo coming across. So pretty team fight oriented team here for Dignitas. TSM gonna make their next few choices there. They need something for the jungle. They need something for the Reginald lane as well, most likely. Looking at Nasus, that's gonna be locked in here. There we go, and the Kassadin. So team comp is there. A lot of different sort of powers here.
Again, we've saved Kassadin until the last pick, but the mid lane for Dignitas here still hasn't been locked in. So it's not a counter pick Kassadin. This is still up to Skara to decide what he wants to go with.
I doubt it would be LeBlanc just because the Kassadin passive kind of ruins the entirety of what LeBlanc wants to do anyway.
A little bit.
But Toy, I don't...
By the way,
he's just slapping, by the way.
That's 15% less magic damage for people who don't know the passive of Kassadin. And really, it's one of the main reasons why he is such a good mage assassin, because of that reduction from magic damage, that's you're going to get even through magic penetration. Won't affect that at all.
Yeah, so good powerful stuff right there. Patoy still looking around at what he wants to grab right here. Got only 5 seconds left. Diana, not a surprising pick here for Skara. So the melee mid laner assassins here for the 2 mage players in the lineups is going to be all kinds of fun. Skara back on Diana. I feel like it's a very good thing for Dignitas.
It was quite a good pick by TSM, I think, though, taking that Kassadin away from Skara. They did not expect TSM to do this. And Reginald actually does have a good track record with Kassadin, at least in his practice games and scrims and stuff. So forcing Skara onto Diana means that he's going to be one of those very vulnerable laners, because Diana is melee, and to get off her CS and continue to stay in the game, she has to be up far. Scar is one of the most vulnerable solo laners to being ganked.
It's true.
So they're kind of forcing him to play up in his lane.
Well, the one thankful thing for him is that Abon on Nasus, one of the lesser ganking champions, he's a little bit more about the pushes, 2v1s. Lesser gank. He's got Wither. He can like smack you with the staff, but he's not Jarvan.
And we saw Meteos with the flash Q for the
Almost
kill.
got him.
Devastating ganks there.
160 damage. Man.
Odd one though. It's really a champion that encompasses his playstyle, where I talked about before. He's a very tank-oriented jungler, always looking for the crowd control to bring to his team, always building auras for his team, always buying wards for the team. So he's definitely one of the more selfless junglers.
It's interesting, though, because when you compare him to one of the other top junglers in the league of Meteos, who actually just had played Nasus, that guy spends a fair amount of time actually farming and getting gold so that he can, heck, buy the auras and the tank items. It's interesting how selfless getting gold for yourself can be.
Yeah.
And I want to, like, it's always something to look at, because you do have multiple ability power, or at least magic damage champions from Dignitas. A delayed runic bulwark could actually hurt TSM theoretically.
Yeah, the way that teams spread their money out really says a lot about the individual identity of the team and the style that they like to go to. Having a couple members way more fed than all the rest can really, really hurt you sometimes, because people get picked off. The people who are not rich can get picked off and bursted down very quickly by an opponent who does run some composition with maybe an Ahri or something like that can snag somebody off guard.
Well, these guys should be able to pick off guys who are off guard. You've got Jarvan, Diana, and Zac. You've got Kassadin and Jace and Thresh. Like, certainly unfarmed guys should be a little bit scared here. Crumbs, nice move, puts the flag in his own brush and walks out to watch where TSM goes. A couple of wards out here from McSpecial. The TSM do get ward coverage over Dignitas' Lizard Camp. That gets pinged out by Dignitas. They know this is around as well. But it looks like, aside from the wards, TSM not looking to invade.
Now, they do have vision. They saw Diana for a split second. And I would think that you would like to have a Jace, a Dorian Blade Jace especially, going up against a Diana if he could find her. Because the auto attack harass, every time that she does go for those minions, is very effective with that Doran's Blade start. The only thing that you have to do when you're in lane versus Diana is be able to dodge a Crescent Strike. And it's one of the skill shots that's actually pretty easy to dodge if you get the mind game right, since it goes in that arc. If you look at the very beginning of the cast, then you can dodge it often by actually running at the person instead of trying to run away.
Nice. We'll see if he can do that right here. Reginald actually is going to go to the mid lane. Skara is actually going to match up against him here. So Skara getting a bit of a safer lane, and you can see how hard he's pushing early on. Every auto attack being spent right there. The junglers are getting their own blue buffs. They're safe right here. But this is a lot of early aggression. And again, we talked about Abba not being the strongest ganker. So that could be something that helps Skara quite a bit.
Oh, Reggie checks his auto attack, does not get that last minion hit. And every minion is extremely important for the early game of Kassadin, because he already has a hard time CSing. And since he's up against Diana, who's going to constantly shove that wave into his turret, he's going to have to deal with CSing under turret for most of this time. The only thing that they can shove Skara off with is pressure from someone else. They have to have someone else join this lane. And since Skara does not have any wards, that's actually a likely occurrence.
So we'll see what the odd one does right now, because He is staying in his own jungle, moving around the wolf camp right here, maybe sitting on Darius' side to defend him. We look at Wild Turtle and Xpecial, level 2 and 1, still zoning out Kiwi Kid, who's got very little experience right now. Waiting around near his own turret. We'll see if he gets defense or if he gets dived or what happens to this guy.
Well, he has started with that Doran shield. I love this item for a lot of the 2v1 specific solo laners because of the passive on it, reducing damage from any auto attacks that come from either support or AD carry. And you can see right there, still at full life, hasn't had to chug any potions. He's doing just fine under there.
But there we look at the odd one, actually not ganking mid, but defending Dyrus there on his turret. And that turret has taken very, very little damage, so that's where the odd one went. Not to mid, but to this top lane. Trying to hold this one alive. We'll see how this matchup goes. Skara still pushing onto Reggie, and you look at Reggie, 14 to 22, not the hugest minion kill deficit, but definitely a loss here for Reggie. Gets that last one there, hits level 4, and Skara, again, sees the jungler is just still on the push for this lane.
So the best way for Skara to punish Reggie is to continually shove the lane to the turret to make it hard for him to CS. And he can do that because he sees Odd One up in that top lane. So anytime the jungler is already in a lane on the map, Skara can just push with impunity.
So good stuff, good adaptation, and a great read here by the Dignitas mid laner. We have Crumbs finally making his own decision. They saw the Odd One top. Crumbs is actually lurking in the shadows towards the bottom right here. And as the minions reach the turret, he says, okay, I'll toss a flag out there, try to keep my turret alive. But Kiwi Kid's turret is down to about 2/5 right here. It is losing health.
And the interesting thing about a Zac Jarvan lane is that even when Zac and Jarvan are within your vision in that lane, you still have to be careful because they both have very strong gap closers and they can close on you very quickly. So Wild Turtle and Xpecial definitely have to be on their toes, and we'll see the flay interrupts from Xpecial really shine here if the aggression from Dignitas ever peaks.
So here we go, the 2v2 lane still here. And this is kind of interesting. It's like the sort of the new lane matchup styles. We had the 2-on-2 bottom lanes back in Season 2. That was pretty standard. End of Season 1 as well. And then you kind of had, okay, 3-on-1 dives. That was the lane matchup, and everyone was trading turrets really, really fast. But a lot of teams, I think, more frequently now than the 3-on-1s, are playing the 2-on-2 with the sort of solo lane plus jungler versus the AD carry support. And that tends to be the sort of default scenario. However, Dignitas making an adaptation here. They shove the bottom lane out, and they're now looking to make a move on to Reggie before he hits level 6.
Without the Rift Walk, all he has to dodge is a flash, and Skara can moonfall him in.
Great flash by Reggie. He's going to get knocked up anyway. The dive comes on in. The Kiwi Kid's going to get split into bloblets. They get the first blood, but now they have to defend the cell division.
One blob is outside of range of turrets, though, so he should be able to revive with that tiny amount of health.
He's so
and
tiny.
They are able to get him out.
Okay, so Kiwi Kid's going to make his way out. Beats his little chest.
All right,
with his fist
if
up
a
in the
Shock
air.
Blast comes in here to finish off Kiwi Kid, I'll give Dyrus a medal. Nah, too bad. No medal for him.
Nor 300 gold, but Wild Turtle and Xpecial have capitalized on that lane vacancy and pushed the turret. So right here, Wild Turtle Xpecial getting the first turret on the map, though Dig had picked up a champion kill. This should be some global gold for the TSM lineup.
Yeah, this has really been the story of Dignitas, and the difference between them and a lot of other teams in the league right now is that they do put a high priority on kills. Effectively, by roaming both their jungler and their solo laner from bottom up to mid to get that first blood, they decided to just forfeit that bottom turret and all the CS that bottom turret has been destroying.
Yeah, so Kiwi got us to show up to this lane, barely level 5 right here. Odd One actually about to hit 6. Dyrus left the top lane, but Odd One stayed. So we saw when Meteos hit level 6 on Nasus, he managed to take away a dragon. I wonder if TSM's going to do the same thing now that they have the Nasus ulti. Looking like they're going to shove this lane out, but I want to see what TSM does. They've always been a team to do very, very smart things with grand map movements and macro decisions.
And they're doing a pretty good decision right now. They shove this top lane while no one's there, and they have one ward on Dragon, but it might be a little bit too late for them to get in position because Dignitas can actually burst it down pretty quickly here. Percentage damage from Zac definitely helps a lot.
Oh, really smart moves here then. So TSM leaves Dyrus top lane to push the turret down as an adaptation. Dignitas said, yeah, we know what you guys are going to do. They actually read TSM of the kind of moves they were going to do and piled on Dragon early. So Dignitas actually taking the Dragon that I think TSM wanted to get with the Nasus ultimate.
They are going to get behind in the map control that comes from turrets, But since they have the Dragon timer, and they've already gotten the first blood bonus out of the way, they're okay with that at this point.
And they definitely got a gold lead for it. They're up 1,200, so even with a small turret deficit for now and a health bar, or a turret health bar deficit as well elsewhere on the map, they've got an interesting lead right here, Dignitas. So I like this look for them. You know, that's kind of what Scar talked about in the interview, is an early game lead and throwing it later. And they're building that early game lead for themselves here. Jumps in on a Reggie, forces him back. More good moves here. And the blue buff, of course, going to let him keep pushing in like that.
I feel like a lot of people, teams in the LCS that are not playing in this game, are watching too, because it's been so long since Scar's been able to have Diana. They want to keep tabs on him and make sure that it's still a worthy ban against them.
That's a good point.
Some people can actually get rusty on a champion after it gets banned out so much and they don't get to play it. But Scar so far is definitely performing up to the standards of the reasons why people used to ban it against him so much.
You're right. I forgot about that on Champ Select. All spring split, it was 2 or 3 Scar bans. It was Gragas, Diana, and then one other champion based on what they wanted him to run. Were you going to give him Ryze? Were you going to give him what? And now this time around, they spent them almost all on Crumbs. They spent one on Kiwi Kid. Scar got pretty much whatever he wanted aside from the Kassadin steal, and he's like, look, my Diana, you guys feared it all the first half of this year. I'm going to show you why this means a lot. So far, doing a good job, 74 to 56 against Reggie in lane. Has that assist, definitely doing a great job.
And it's really because a lot of teams look at the recent games where Scar has been focused on those assassins for the solo lane here. He's done Master Yi so many times, and Kassadin so many times that they were expecting him to pick one of those champions here. Nice flash there by Darius, gets him out of trouble.
And the silence there from Reggie as well keeps the counter engage there from Scar from happening. But Wild Turtle's going to move around. The bottom turret, of course, had gone down. The push here in the mid lane, Albon clearing out the minion wave. Wild Turtle shows up as well. Dignitas must defend this unless they want to lose that turret there. They've got a 2-on-2. No, a 2-on-3 as Xpecial shows up. Turret starting to lose health.
The Wither is such a good, like Nasus' whole kit is so good at pushing turrets because of the Spirit Fire for the clear, and then Wither basically nullifies someone's effectiveness to defend that lane for a good 3 seconds.
And that is the TSM plan then, the pushing, the turret lead, getting just so much pressure on the map right there and using the Nasus, not for the ganks in the conventional sense, but kind of ganking the turrets who can't run away from Nasus and are immune to knockups anyway. He ganks the turrets, not the champions, and his effects work well. Hey, his Q works on turrets, to be fair. Jarvan's doesn't.
Up next, moving turrets.
Yes. Heimer can, I guess, replace them.
Hey, that rework maybe. I don't know.
Knock up there. Dyrus getting sent to the skies. He's going to pick that one up. The jump in from Kiwi Kid. They didn't expect that one, but Crumbs dropped dangerously low. Dyrus will fall down. Crumbs might drop to the Ignite, and now it's Reggie's turn to try to run away. He's got the red buff. His Riftwalk is stacked twice. He can Riftwalk away if he wants to, but Kiwi Kid is not putting on that much threat. Reggie gets out of this one. 1 for 1. Turret does go for TSM.
And Kiwi Kid actually does not have potential to chase because as a solo lane Zac, he's not maxing his elastic slingshot. He's not going in for the ganks. He actually maxes the stretching arms first, so that's the Q instead of his E.
So slow but not a knock-up with low cooldown or good range. It's always fun to see how these guys play the champions differently. Thank you for the update on that one. Scar pressuring his move. Kiwi Kid, though, actually got enough, he pushed Reggie away enough that he got the minion wave to push down. The top lane turret finally going down. This was the 2-on-1 lane that Dignitas had earlier on. Couldn't quite clinch the turret there. Finally got other things to Kiwi Kid, so they're at least on the map as far as structures are concerned.
So yeah, that was the first turret that goes down for Dignitas, but they also have a low one in mid. Reggie takes the crescendo!
Oh my gosh, the burst coming out there. Reggie's not going to like that one. Good job to Cutie-Pie and Patoy. Didn't even need True Shot Barrage. That was just crescendo ignite. And the AD carry damage here, the early brutalizer from Cutie-Pie. We don't see that a lot from Ezreal.
It's a nice little variation on Blue Ezreal build, because Blue Ezreal build used to start out with, well, Dyrus is getting chased here. Let's see if this actually comes to fruition.
Kiwi Kid's running out and pressing the W. The Q comes out. Dyrus safe. So the brutalizer.
Right, so the brutalizer, it's very similar to the beginnings of the Blue Ezreal, which was the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. Cooldown reduction, attack damage. Brutalizer, it brings both those stats, plus it brings armor penetration, flat armor penetration, which is a reason that we just saw him do so much damage to Reginald right there, because Cassidy, low armor, being reduced by a flat amount, definitely very effective right there.
And speaking of Reginald and not building armor, he is rushing for that Archangel staff, so the build I was using there, going for the ditching the Rod of Ages, I guess, and hopefully he's able to survive that one. We can get a replay of that Cassidy kill though, Kobe.
Yeah, so let's take a look here. Reginald just goes straight onto Cutie-Pie, and there's the turnaround. That's nothing more to say there. Rift walk forward, dangerous proposition. We saw it in the last game. Rift walking forward towards minions. Paid for it. This time, he was going for harass onto Cutie-Pie.
The good reflexes, good reaction there by Patoy to lock him down and get the damage out, but they wanted there. Cutie-Pie continuing to take control, and actually look at this. Over the last few minutes, Dignitas have taken all the outer turrets down. The early kills happened. That was nice for them. They got the dragon. That was nice. They also managed to crush out the turrets. So now Dignitas have a very real early mid-game lead, almost 4,000 here. They're controlling dragon as well.
Reggie's back up, but he's very far away right now, and Dyrus isn't even moving towards dragon.
Yama, can he smite steal away from this one? It's going to be close.
He got it.
Does take Dragon, but he will go down. Cataclysm comes across, does not land on much. Scara pulls in 3. Special locked up there, puts the box down. Nice ult from Ezreal. 2 kills for the Dragon, but now Dignitas needs more to pull out a lead.
2 kills for the dragon gold-wise, kind of a wash, but as far as control of the map, now Dignitas are free to pick up another, or put more pressure wherever they choose to go.
It looks like they choose to go back to base, unfortunately. So TSM, the revives are short enough, the health bars are high enough that they're okay with this one. Heroic move by the odd one, equalizing that one out. Dignitas starting to get some kill streaks here. And TSM actually, they have no minions. They're not going for this turret.
So that was a very good move then by the odd one specifically for the steal, because now Ezreal, he is stacking up the kills for this kill streak you're talking about. As soon as you breach that 3, then you're going to start getting extra bonus gold for TSM if they end up bringing him down.
And they just might do that, of course. Cutie-Pie, a lot of kills, but he tends to go very aggressively. I feel like Cutie-Pie is one of the higher kill plus deaths, one of the higher action score AD carries in the LCS. Action score, by the way, is kills plus deaths plus assists. It's just how much happens to you in the game. I feel like Cutie-Pie is one of the higher action score players out there. So Dyrus just sweeping things out. And so far, Dignitas are holding on to their turrets right here. They're still holding that 4,000 gold lead. They get the jump onto Xpecial. Goodbye there to Xpecial. Now the odd one getting jumped on. Cutie-Pie is now worth real gold. Scara low on health. Reggie gets knocked up. Beautiful jump by Crumbs. Secured kill by Patoy. Scara takes another one. 3 for nothing on this battle. Wonderful job by Dignitas. And at 15, I thought they're going to go Baron. No, okay.
Patoy is making such a great case for MVP this game. Okay,
so
yeah. That was one of the examples where we talked about earlier of supports securing kills that people actually can't get on their team. He got a very nice power chord off on Reggie before he could get out of range, picking up an extra kill. And he's the one who started the whole action with the flash crescendo forward. So Patoy really making most of the moves here for Dignitas.
Yeah, and it worked. He coordinated with the team, and it's a case for teams that make a call and they all react to it in time. Flash crescendo without a true shot barrage, without Diana following up, without Zach jumping in, useless. That one, wonderful.
And those type of surprising sort of plays cannot really come from this TSM team. They don't have a hard engage. Basically, the only moves and plays, quote unquote, that they can make are with Reginald sort of being very dangerous and rift walking around the side. So if we look at the replay, it was a beautiful crescendo that almost even got Wild Turtle too. So he was looking for the double hit right there. Good quick draw for Wild Turtle, but Reginald going too deep right now, again with Cassidy, and Patoy locking him down. I guess Cutie-Pie could have finished off that Reggie kill. Upon second look, he could have, but Patoy earned that one. We're gonna say
okay,
that was definitely his kill.
All right, I was about to just renege and be like, you know what, Patoy? Actually, he's keeping Cutie-Pie from being worth more gold if he ever dies.
There you go.
He's making sure that kill streak's not worth too much.
He's doing the work. He earned it.
Yeah.
you gotta throw him some money every once in a while.
All right. So more items coming out. Ruby Sightstone and the Boots of Mobility already out here for Patoy. So nice and wealthy for support. You compare him to Xpecial, who's got regular Sightstone and regular boots.
Yeah, and that means that we'll see more of those plays coming out because he has the movement speed to get into position very quicker.
And Xpecial getting locked up there by the Cataclysm. The rest of the team shows up. Goodbye, Xpecial. 220 gold is what the kill was for there for Kiwi Kid. So unfortunately, those catches really rough. You talked about the vision control.
Yeah, the reason that Crumbs did not hesitate to capitalize on that pick is because of the vision.
And he finds Dyrus as well, but Crumbs bit off a little bit more than he can chew, and Wild Turtle will snack on that man. The rest of the team has to run back. A little bit too crazy for Crumbs.
Good crescendo again, and Cutie Pie goes aggressive.
Oh, and there's the 432 gold. See, Patoy saving him for this one, but Wild Turtle double kill there. Kiwi Kid turns that one back, the odd one. Now forced to run. Can Kiwi Kid kill him? Looks like not. Crazy battles here, but that was a 3-for-1 for TSM, including some shutdown kills.
And you can see there the reason that Cutie Pie did go with Ezreal against the Nasus is because he's one of the AD carries that's least affected by Wither, since a lot of his damage does come from his Mystic Shot, and he can use that time more effectively.
Good adaptation there by Cutie Pie. TSM still with a great fight. Scar lurking in the shadows, but has no ward coverage. I feel like he wanted to steal blue and then realized that there's no way that would be successful.
Very, very, very dangerous.
All right, so no pickup there. Reggie, level 11, saying, oh, look, my blue is still there. Thank you, Scar, for not giving me a free kill. Trying to steal, but is Scar really level 14 compared to Reggie being 11? That is a massive level disparity there. Scar has gotten a crap ton of farm, 189 minion kills. That is a gigantic Diana.
And Diana, not only is she going to do more damage, but she's also getting extremely tanky. She already has magic resist from the Abyssal Scepter, and she's going to turn her Seeker's Arm Guard into a Zanya. So we'll see so much engage opportunity on this Dignitas team once Zanya's gets completed, whereas we have almost none from the TSM team. Like we said earlier, this TSM composition does not thrive. They don't have the hard engage potential, whereas Dignitas
good steal.
have so many options to go with it. And Crumbs right there with the quick fingers.
And the knock up there from Kiwi Kid on the Dyrus. Dyrus, though, happily pushing him away right there. These guys have pretty equal minion kills. Reggie also lurking in the shadows. We saw how well Kasten made fights happen in the Cloud9 game, but Dignitas forcing down the one turret. Kiwi Kid ignited, shrinking down as the Q gets melted off of him. And forced to run away from this turret. TSM might just be trading secondary turrets here.
That Ignite just tells us how the communication was going through TSM's voice comm right there. Reggie wanted to go in on Kiwi Kid, but Dyrus said, don't pull that trigger. He's got cell division still. It's going to take us too long to kill him under turret.
So they do trade the turret down for this one. TSM taking the secondary as Dignitas did. However, did go for Dragon. That's their second. Unfortunately, the one before that was stolen away, but are taking the dragons for themselves. So Dignitas still in control of that portion of the map, and Wild Turtle looking for a steal against Skara, but Diana not happy about that one.
Now, TSM did take a tower while Dignitas were doing Dragon, but Dignitas had already gotten their turret, their answer turret down bottom, the secondary one, because of the roam of Reggie up to the top lane to try and get that 2v1 potential. So Dignitas definitely came out with an extra objective in that exchange, and they're just extending their gold lead here.
That's good stuff with these guys. Of course, you're seeing them continue to do very well. And I want to bring back one of the earlier stories about the junglers and making the comparisons, because Ivan is actually, by being Nasus and showing up to lanes a lot, has done a good job of getting farm. His Aegis is already done compared to, you look at Crumbs, who doesn't have his yet. So Oddone is actually getting himself those teamfight auras in a pretty decent amount of time.
So he's got the Aegis of the Legion, but TSM's team, like I said, they're not the ones that can choose the fight. So they're really just hoping that Dignitas will mess up one of their engages so that they can counter-engage with their Kassadin and their burst combo from Graves. But they don't have anything to lock anyone down for that combo. They have to sort of wait for Dignitas to play into their hands.
Let's hope TSM can find the opening, then find the picks, find the runs in, because right now Dignitas has very good ward control. Look down at the bottom jungle near TSM's Lizard buff. That's actually been controlled pretty decently here by, I'm assuming, Patoy's wards. Running around with that Sight Stone. Dignitas lurking around the left-hand side of the map, looking for maybe their next engage right here. Skara just in a duel, and Kiwi Kid actually off the ward control. Dignitas starting up on Baron.
They've cleared out the vision, so they have a few seconds before TSM get antsy enough to come check. And since Dyrus is still bottom, they'll even have the man advantage if the fight occurs.
They go for the knockup, they get the crescendo on the Wild Turtle, and here comes the engage, dodges out, Box comes by as well, but here comes Skara. Flash out from Wild Turtle, Flay knocks Skara back, collateral damage comes across, dealing a bit of damage to everyone else on the team. TSM does get away from this one and stops the Baron. PewDiePie silenced out. Reggie's done some good damage to him.
Very lucky for TSM that they were able to get out of that one. It was at the cost of both Wild Turtle's flash and his barrier, though. They were able to kite back and delay long enough for Darius to come up and even out the numbers.
And now the TSM lead. Oh, they go in! No, not going in on a PewDiePie. Nice pull, though, in from Xpecial. He gets some pressure now onto the turret. TSM still playing a bit aggressive. Poke comes out, dropping PewDiePie even lower. This actually might thin out the Dignitas ranks enough to allow TSM to push in next wave. Just maybe. Minions are actually building up on the outsides of the map as well. If the teams want to make more moves.
Darius misses Crescent Strike, no wave clear from that.
Here we go. Crumbs looks forward, doesn't quite find what he wants. Minions do go down, but that turret dropped now to about half HP. And it looks like the teams are going to split up to sweep away some minion waves right now. The top lane actually built very large for TSM. I want to see if Dignitas picks that one up. TSM actually pings it, saying, look, someone's going to look for that wave. Get ready to collapse when they do this.
There, two pretty big waves here for TSM, both top and bottom. But since they were just run off and their cooldowns were used up, they aren't remaining on the map to take advantage of those minion waves. And then the minion waves are just turning into money for Dignitas. Kiwi Kid here picking up all the gold.
And he's getting, he's going from the damage build into tanky now. He opened up Sork Shoes, Haunting Guys, and a Sunfire Cape. So that is a very deadly Kiwi Kid. He's now going towards, I guess, what might be Randuin's Omen and adding more durability to his build. So Kiwi Kid, kind of a dual threat, tank and damage threat. Yeah,
and that's because they do have so many options for the engage with this Dignitas team. Whereas the TSM one, I keep thinking about the composition, and the last pick Kassadin is extremely weird, both for the end game here where they don't have engage, and he's getting hit up by Scar actually in the bottom lane.
PewDiePie actually goes in onto the Oblin right here. Crescendo comes across, the knock-up there as well. Oblin pops ulti, but he's probably going to go down. Reggie actually duels Scar in the top lane, but Crumbs still wants to fight on in. Lateral damage comes across, answers a kill. PewDiePie is still chasing, gets exhausted. Here comes Reggie for the cleanup. Double kill, goes on a Patoy. Dyrus secures that one away, and now Kiwi Kid is alone. He's popped into Blah Blitz, and goodbye. The Cell Division gets subtracted to 0.
The split up fights are exactly what TSM wanted. They said they have to have Dignitas play into their hands, and that's exactly where they thrive, in chaos. So let's take a look at the replay of the bottom half here, where it was Skara thinking he was heads up with Reggie, but Dyrus came to join the party and just ruined Skara's day. Look at that empowered shock blast onto him, and then Kassadin very good against Diana because of the silence too, and they're able to finish him off 2 versus 1.
Wonderful stuff right there. You saw TSM finding the fights they're looking for, finding the picks, the 2-on-1 down there, and getting then the cleanup on the what resulted in kind of like a 5-on-4 afterwards. So TSM now only within 3 kills. Their mid-game decision-making has succeeded for them. 4-4 in turrets, only down 1 dragon. Is definitely getting quite a bit closer here. As Dignitas now have to say, guys, this happened last time. We got an early lead and it stopped working for us.
Uh-oh, another pick for TSM would be amazing for them.
He gets caught up a little bit, but at least for his sake, he is a bit tanky. Has not finished the Aegis just yet, though, whereas Runic Bulwark is done for the odd one. Reggie forcing Crumbs and Patoy away, decides to not dive into 2 people into the Fog of War. Probably a smart choice. But TSM might be still playing the Siege game.
It's quite hard for TSM to recreate the way the last team fight went down, though, because not only was Dignitas split and TSM able to use that chaos to their advantage, but also Dignitas used so many abilities on the odd one, who is the tank. I don't think they'll do that again.
Here the dive comes in, Crumbs low on HP, just gets completely exploded, and the battle has begun. Skara dives in, looks for Dyrus, has to zone his away, though Kiwi Kid bouncing around. He's gonna drop down as well, but PewDiePie still on the back line. Can he cut away from this one? He and Patoy, the only ones left, 4 versus 2. Arcane shifts back, puts down the slow. Reggie chasing onto Patoy, has plenty of mana to chase on. He goes in for PewDiePie instead, though. No, looks back for Patoy, goes for the silence, goes for the slow, lands it. Wild Turtle dives on in, and there they go. Kill picked up for Reginald. Killing spree for that man. And only I'm a PewDiePie's alive against 4.
Dignitas are really dropping the ball here. They started that fight without having Crescendo. That is a key part to their composition. The hard CC that brings is invaluable. They couldn't lock down the Kassadin, the Wild Turtle, or Dyrus. And they completely, well, at least they're able to get him off Baron with the Ezreal.
They got spotted by QtPie's ulti, and yeah, they just completely backed out, saying, guys, let's not risk it right here. Odd One Smite wasn't up. Well, it's up now. I guess it might have been fine. QtPie goes in. And Arcane chips the wall.
You get these kind of very awkward reactions when neither team has wards down. So
yeah,
there was no vision for either team around Baron. So even though TSM had the numbers advantage and QtPie was forced to go face check, they didn't know that. So they were like, oh my god, they know. They must have pink wards in here and at Baron or something, and TSM pull back.
It's always interesting to watch that, to see like how much the teams respect each other, saying, look, if they get the drop on us, it's a really bad fight. We know we don't have wards. They just might. They might have what they need. You know what? TSM also, they got to be feeling confident now. They've won the last few fights in a row. They've got to say, you know, if we just play straight up, we should be all right here.
Yeah, these were some unfortunate choices from Dignitas in the last two. First, in the jungle, they used Crescendo only on the Odd One, who's the tankiest member, and his job is to soak up damage. And then the second one, they didn't even have Crescendo. So it just means that the next team fight, they're almost down to their last hope here, and they have to land one of those onto at least Dyrus and Wild Turtle, if not Reggie. Reggie's definitely very hard to pin down, so definitely a more difficult one to connect with there. But if you could get it onto those two priority targets at least, it would completely change the team fights that are going on.
It absolutely would. And talking about Reggie being hard to pin down and his damage output when not caught. No, they're going to go in onto a special. QtPie down below half HP. Reggie gets caught up in the cataclysm, pops the shield, gets pulled in by Scar. Do they have the damage? Shut down onto Reginald. That's huge for Dignitas. Now, can they continue? Zonya's by Scar. He is safe for now. The knockup might come through. Crumb's going to get dropped out, but Abba will fall. No cell division still for Zach, but a double kill here for I'm a QtPie. Looks like a 2-for-2 engage. And Digger going to walk away. Shock Blast doesn't find anything.
That was the difference right there. It's all about the hard CC that you do land in the engage opportunity. It was started off nice for TSM because they thought they had a good pick with the death sentence onto QtPie. But like I said, they have no follow-up to lock anyone down after that. And QtPie was the one with the most health at the end of that fight, even though TSM started the engage on him.
Beautiful stuff then by TSM to turn this stuff around, keep the fight going well, and also, I mean, Dignitas as well to finally find the battle they wanted, put themselves in good shape. Wild Turtle sweeping away the red buff there, Dyrus sweeping away the top line minions. So I wanted to point out what I was going to talk about Reginald, who he went for the fast death cap. He's full on, like, crazy ability power, is squished. You did see him die in that last fight despite the Seraph's shield. That is a high damage Reginald. He was looking to burst people out.
And that's what you should be looking for with the Kassadin, is be able to get your combo off without overextending and putting yourself in position for a counterattack. You want to make use of the duration that your enemy is silenced. We've seen Reggie several times here be just too close to the damage dealers.
Ooh, good ulti though from Ezreal. Doesn't actually aggro the Baron though. TSM are safe. And you're right, it's on Reginald to position himself well. Maybe use that flash backwards we saw from High in the prior game, and maybe that'll be enough for Reggie right here. Dignitas still holding on to a 2,000 gold lead and looking to just sweep around the Baron Nashor. It's all kind of come down to which team get the engage they want. Kiwi Kid gets pulled in. Winning special, the team goes in. Kiwi dropped down to half HP. The team still wants to fight. Blade backwards. Kiwi Kid still playing aggressively. Goes for the left bounce, finds a bit there. Great crescendo comes across the team of TSM. But oh my god, Patoy is just gone. And QtPie doesn't have anyone to fight right now. The rest of TSM following through. Skara trying to run. He could get with it again in the near future. Jumps in on a Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle versus QtPie. Close fight. Takes the kill. Good job, Cutie. But it's a 1-for-1. The chase still on. Reggie guesses the wrong direction. QtPie alive for now. Reggie going to be running out of mana soon if he rift walks too quickly. Cutie good, kiting away. Good job to choose to go over the wall.
Great crescendo with no damage to follow it up. So they actually didn't take advantage of it. And it's because the Odd One has become such a beast. He has a giant wall, and he did a good job zoning off the damage of Dignitas.
And the 2-for-1 for TSM gives them the secondary middle turret, putting them closer now in gold, only 1,000 separating these guys. And it's weird to talk about Dignitas with a gold lead, because I feel like TSM's been getting the better of most of the last few engages. Like they're winning, but not officially, if that makes sense. It just seems like their team fights have gone so well in recent history.
Well, Dignitas should definitely try and take advantage of the giant minion wave that they have bottom right now to get vision back of the Baron area. This is an opportunity where they see in lane 2 members of TSM. So they know that they have the numbers advantage up on the top side of the map.
And they're using that, as you say, they're sweeping out the wards. They've got the vision control here. Pings out from TSM saying, okay, here's where they've warded. Here's what they've stolen away. Let's try to get this one back. Both teams now collapsing towards this side of the map. They're all in the same sort of quarter of the map at this point. Moving in towards Baron Nashor. Skara has finished the Nashor's too, still adding that to his build, still making that all happen. But as you see, it's now TSM, the team, that says, yeah, we actually have control over Dragon now. We can make these fights happen. We'll actually be able to build ourselves a tied gold game because of this one. That's their third, of course, one of them stolen by the odd one earlier. But Dig, they're looking for a fight. And playing maybe it's just for rewards, but they were kind of playing aggressively into that TSM jungle.
And TSM was able to get back, sneak another ward up by the Baron. So it will take another round of Oracle sweeping for Dignitas to actually be able to force TSM to come down and play that very dangerous game of hide and seek.
And the Muramana also completed for I'mACutiePie, so he'll be scarier as well when he does find someone from TSM in the hide and seek game. They're still coming out. These guys are pushing the minion waves to give themselves breathing room. And that ward game kind of tends to continue here. We'll see where the teams go next.
Now the biggest difference this time around is going to be that Dyrus has Guardian Angel, and KiwiKid's Cell Division is back up now. Wow, that was quick. Okay, just kidding. Cell Division's back up, so
they will both have
revives. Yeah.
He had died 3 times in a row without it, so it finally came back from cooldown for KiwiKid, and he'll have a little bit better time of this one. Reggie and crew lurking around. Dignitas are nearby. They're sweeping back and forth. Both supports wearing oracles here. Both teams knowing this is a major objective. Dignitas putting pressure down in the mid lane. That's going to force a reaction for TSM. The solo mid lineup have done a good job of holding on to most of their secondary turrets here. Only the bottom lane one had fallen down as part of a trade. The TSM have done a pretty good job keeping their structures up right here. 5-4 in turrets for them. Gold equal between these teams. KiwiKid finally getting a little bit tankier. We've been kind of keeping track of him, what he's been doing. Both junglers holding similar items as well. Spirit of the Ancient Golem, the Runic Bulwark, and the Ninja Tabby. So similar tanks there, but the damaged guys are just different. We talked about last time Wild Turtle was on Graves, he went for Infinity Edge. He did it again here. He is a big auto attack threat.
So yeah, he definitely, they want to protect Turtle. We heard after yesterday, Xpecial talking about the difference between when they were winning team fights and losing them. And it was protect the turtle. Build up that turtle shell and kite your enemies backwards. Wow, Reggie so low.
Has to flash away. KiwiKid still wants it though, but gets flayed backwards. The team is safe. Dyrus goes in on CutiePie, but the arcade shift keeps him safe. Dyrus gonna lose his GA right here. I gotta assume the odd one there. Nice cut, and CutiePie does not get caught out. And the battle is still gonna continue. Cell Division used. Dyrus actually doesn't get brought down. Wild Turtle gets the kill on KiwiKid, and the rest of TSM are actually able to get out of that one. I can't believe Dyrus lived. I guess he flashed away.
Yeah. Well, it looked like an amazing engage right there, and an opportunity for Dignitas to catch out TSM because Reggie was so far up, but that's because Scar wasn't with the team. That's why Reggie put himself in danger, because he wanted to force a fight 4 vs 5 where Dignitas did not have Skara.
And it worked out for him. They got a kill and didn't lose their GA. KiwiKid, that Cell Division's back on cooldown. Unfortunate for that man. Gonna have to build some more tankiness there. Adding a chain vest, going for a bit more armor. Odd One sweeps out control over Baron. Division War still being played. They put a ward over the wall. Xpecial not going to stick his neck out to sweep out the ward there from Dignitas, but they catch almost getting Wild Turtle. He dashed away. Quick on the draw there, getting away from the Moonfall.
Because he's quick on the draw, he still has his flash and his barrier available, which are the 2 crucial components to TSM's protect the turtle idea here.
Ooh, just escaping away from Xpecial, but the Wither comes off. Crumb's forced to flash as his flag toss was used to check out Baron. TSM getting a little bit more control. Nice slow there from CutiePie. Has to walk through that Iceborne Gauntlet slow, pushing TSM out, using the acceleration gate to run away faster. And Dignitas still now, they're the team actually with control. KiwiKid has revived, and TSM now kind of playing to the tune of Dignitas's fiddle and making TSM go in on this one. Of course, they have Crescendo. This could be a good fight for Dignitas.
It will be a good fight for Dignitas if they could land that onto Turtle, because now that Dyrus has his Guardian Angel, the main target for Dignitas is taking down Wild Turtle. He has so much sustain damage on Graves because he went that Infinity Edge route with the Blade of the Ruin King. So it's going to be all about, can Dignitas dive combo of the Scar and Crumbs and Kiwi Kid getting deep onto Wild Turtle be successful or not? Because we've got Dyrus with the GA and Reggie with the Rift Walk. Both have good answers for kiting through this TSM team.
So it's a game of mechanical skill then for these guys and what they can do with the champions they've been given. Who can outplay whom? Xpecial, actually, we just saw him being donated a bit of minion farm there and use it to buy an Oracles, but Dignitas are diving in for this one. Reggie's far away, and so is Xpecial.
Reggie showed bottom at 38 minutes in with the Baron up. This is going to be a 4 vs 5.
They dive in, they find a Wild Turtle. Crescendo, 1 kill picked up. Wild Turtle has been cracked, and they've eaten that meat. Now Odd One and Dyrus getting chased down. This will actually be the GA used up. I don't know if TSM can re-engage. Ezreal comes across, shut down. 2 kills picked up for Dignitas. Reggie, not much mana, he's going to lurk away.
You can't forget about the Baron at this point in the game. The bottom lane so far away. Reginald, no teleport. So that was an easy choice for Dignitas and a great job by them capitalizing on the opportunity that was presented.
Beautiful then here for Dignitas. Looking to move up in the standings and secure a playoff spot right here. Getting now their like 5th 2,000 gold lead against TSM now in this game. But with Baron buff, they might just get more out of this one. 4 to 5 in turrets. They want to equalize that score. Looks like they'll get at least 1 turret here.
Now, to be fair also, Wild Turtle being exposed like that, allowing Patoy to go for that crescendo really just was the icing on top of the cake there for Dignitas. TSM's idea was that they were going to try and poke around the Baron pit and delay until Reggie could get there. But like we said, the next team fight was going to be all about, can Dignitas get to that Wild Turtle priority target? And the answer was yes, they can, and they got the Baron for it.
Beautiful then by Dignitas. The catch, the hardcore engage. We knew they had it the whole time. They finally found the one they wanted here in a late game team fight. But TSM though, you look at the damage output by these guys, even though they lost the last fight, even though they lost Baron, they managed to take control of Dragon of this one just because there's so much to think about on the map. There's so many places to go and so much to do. TSM found, hey, here's something we can do even though we should be losing fights right here. It's a good thing for these guys to pull 1,000 gold back.
So they're able to get, you know, the very small consolation prize at the end of the devastating battle that they just lost. And they did take advantage of the small lapse in map pressure that Dignitas have because they were all going back to base to buy. But it's going to be very difficult for them to actually defend with just that 1,000 gold compared to actual Baron buff.
TSM completely giving away secondary turrets. The dive comes in, finding a lot, but they're actually initiating on different sides of the map right here. It's the front line diving in the bottom side. Crescendo lands on a couple, but no kills going through. Finally, Kiwi Kid finds one. Skara drops so low, though. He's got to disengage. Xpecial has fallen. A 1-for-0 here for Dignitas. They got the turret as well. The split engage actually worked there.
Ooh, only because of that Zanya's there for Skara. That was extremely close to being a support traded for the mid laner. But well done by Dignitas, and now they're on to the inhibitor turret.
They might just keep on pushing here. This turret down below half HP, or about 2 half HP right here. Dyrus finding some poke, and look how little damage PewDiePie actually took from that one. The Iceborne Gauntlet giving him the armor, the Baron buff and Sona regen. He's actually healthier than when the shock blast hit him.
It feels great.
Yeah.
The regen from Baron buff also, all of them going to heal right back up. You can see they didn't pull a full retreat, just going into the jungle right there to check for blue real quick. Grab that one up, and now Skara actually taking a good chunk of damage because that Crescent Strike did tag the enemy. He got tower aggro.
And Dignitas forced to run back a little bit, but Dyrus and Reggie might not be done right here. Gets the slowdown on a part of Dignitas. D's still looking around. They might just have to play defense here. No, Reggie goes back in. The knock up there onto Wild Turtle. The dive comes in. Skara catches 4. Can they re-engage? Crumbs falls down. Kiwi Kid dives in, but he gets exploded into blobbers right there, and Reggie is not done. Lands a slow into Skara. Cutie Pie lands the slow back and says, stop chasing us. But now Dignitas forced to play D.
Great job by Reggie keeping Dignitas interested there. With the Kassadin play, it's all about harassing in and then getting out before they can counter on you. And he actually had to use his flash right there for the last one because Crumbs would have landed the knockup. But He was able to use it successfully, and they did answer back taking off 2 of those very important Baron buffs to buy them a bit more time.
And of course, Soul Division being back down is going to make Kiwi Kid a little bit sadder overall in this game. Has finished himself a Thorn Mail, actually, to try to survive Wild Turtle and Dyrus a little bit more. And has a Negatron Cloak, guess Spirit Visage probably, being that he's Zac, to go for his last tank item here. So Kiwi Kid approaching final build. Crumb's getting most of the way there. Scar actually only has 1 item slot left. And QtPie's actually done buying things. So Dignitas, for their gold lead, are going to start running out of things to spend that gold lead on.
Once you max out the 6 items, then we start getting to the point of the selling the different boots, and really the gold difference doesn't matter anymore. At this point already, it's a pretty negligible gold difference. That 1K does not mean much. It's all about the engage and landing the crescendo onto Wild Turtle.
And jump in from Crumbs does find Wild Turtle, exactly what they wanted. Goodbye! Taking him down, and now it's Dyrus pushing away. I'm a QtPie, he's done that though. Kiwi Kid still bouncing around. True Shot Barrage lands onto 3. The knockup is flash, but Crumbs still dives on forward. Can they get the last bit of damage on her special? Yes, they can. Skara with the assassination, but now his Lunar Rush is down. Will they keep chasing onto the Odd One and Co., or will they just run in for the turret? They've got a 5 versus 3 for 45 seconds. They don't have a minion wave yet, but that's okay. They can take the inhibitor down. Dragon Baron not up, but they can at least control the base. Now where does Dignitas go?
They can farm up minion waves inside the base, but they're going to get chased off here by Reggie because he's so good at picking people off. We saw him what happened last time when Dignitas stayed around a little bit too long. They don't want to give TSM any opening to get back in this game.
Looks like they're not going to try to make that happen, so there we go. Minions just getting pushed out by TSM. Dignitas, you're right, they're recalling in time for any counterattack. There's only 1 secondary turret even available for TSM to jump on. Minions are kind of close to it. The revive's just now coming in for solo mid. Dignitas will be healthy in time for any attack, so they are prepared to defend and not give TSM those openings. You're right.
So the next step for Dignitas on the plan is, if they have got that Baron timer, which any team worth their salt does have, then they know that they have 50 seconds to push out the bottom lane, and after you just clear that out, it will push by itself because even side lane minions have more health when you have an inhibitor down in a different lane, and they will use that pressure down bottom to clear out and gain the vision advantage around Baron and try to force TSM into TSM overextending and engaging because they feel the pressure of having to act.
And so TSM looking for a pick early on, dive into the Dignitas jungle, try to wrest control of this side of the map before the Baron does spawn. It might just be a good job done by these guys. Kiwi Kid has left the bottom lane, Scar's pushed down mid. Dignitas actually can force the issue mid.
Exactly, they can just run straight down mid and it will force TSM to recall. If they don't bring everybody, then they won't be able to defend those Nexus turrets. Now, let's look at how the teamfight might actually play out, because the defensive item that Wild Turtle went with is a Frozen Mallet, which, yes, it adds a bit of HP, but that's not going to save you if you get comboed with the CC of the Crescendo and the knockups there from Jarvan and Zac, which we've seen be the only effective way that Dignitas have actually won teamfights.
He's actually had a weird time trying to find what he wanted to buy. He had built a Warden's Mail earlier on. Dignitas, though, have started up on Baron, and TSM have a nice concave. They can't all get Crescendo. It's going to catch on the Dyrus, though. They try to explode him. He gets G8 right there. Crumbs low on HP. They jump into Wild Turtle. Skara drop dangerously low. Can they kill the Wild Turtle? Yes, they do. Lantern does not come in time. 2 for 1 so far for Dignitas. Reggie forced back. Uses the zone. He's especially getting cut out now. QtPie is so low, trying to run away. Can he survive with the barrier? Ava trying to make it happen. Still kiting. I'm a QtPie. 1 hit to go. Survives and gets it. Special doesn't land the play either. He is alone. He will not kill I'm a QtPie. Huge team by pick up there for Dignitas, and they've got 3 members left to kill the base.
That is exactly why QtPie loves the blue build Ezreal, because he's the kiting master. Very, very well done for him, and that will be the game for Dignitas. Kiwi Kid had been chasing down Reggie that whole time, which almost cost them QtPie's life, but it didn't, so they win.
So they win, they take it down. Incredibly close matchup between these two teams, but Dignitas goes 3-1 on TSM in the season, moves up to 10-12, dropping TSM to 11-11. These guys now within 1 game of the standings.
Let me shove the side lanes with ult. You can't send someone out.
Dignitas having a discussion.
Yeah, I was very interested in the discussion because that was an interesting ending to the game there. And they were talking about trying to shove the side lanes there with just the Ezreal ult to force the TSM's hand and get that engage in the jungle. Very, very interesting strategy there. And very well played by PewDiePie, I have to say, in the last few seconds there. One more tick, 1 second of hesitation would have cost his life, because even just standing there in the Spirit Fire, it almost ticked down and cost him his life.
Incredibly close match by him. I think he went, what, 13-2-11? If I have that number right. Huge score there by I'm a PewDiePie, making that one happen, leading his team. That blue Ezreal, the early Brutalizer, made it happen. But of course, that last team fight was massive for Dignitas. That meant everything.
Yeah, game ended so quickly. Let's take a look at the replay here. Patoy, this time, crescendo right onto Dyrus, the other high priority target. And they're able to burst him down and then switch over to Wild Turtle here. You see PewDiePie changes his focus right over to Wild Turtle because they start panicking when Wild Turtle looks like he's going to be able to take down both Crumbs and Skara up there, but they are able to finish him out. Now let's look at PewDiePie's kiting here, because this comes down to 1 bar of HP, and the last shot right in Odd One's face is able to finish it off. We saw Kiwi Kid finally coming in at the end, but at the beginning when he started chasing Reggie around the side, I got a little worried because of how low the PewDiePie was. Turns out he had everything in hand, not even close, baby.
So very well done by these guys. Dignitas picking up that much needed win. And now we've got to take a short break, but when we return, Dignitas' Kiwi Kid will join us to talk about bouncing back from yesterday's loss. Then it's time for our 3rd match of the day, Vulcan versus Curse. The North American League Championship Series will be right back, so don't click that mouse.